Now this year has been a fantastic year for aeoniums. As you can see, they've become very rampant this year, grown large and spread over quite a large area, including over the top of these little palms that I had planted. And that is because these were left out all winter, completely unprotected, and they've grown really big. So it's unbelievable really that they survived a full winter outside in Yorkshire with no protection. So hopefully, if we have a mild winter again, many of these, if not all of them, would survive outside. But as most winters would kill these off after the first few harsh frosts, I am going to edge my bets this winter. And what I'm going to do is leave some in the ground, and I'm going to cut many of these off. So I'll go in here, and you can see the stem down there. What I'm going to do is cut off, leaving about 3 or 4 inches of stem underneath the rosette. Cut off there. And the plan is that if any of these survive the winter, they'll resprout from the stem down here and grow more rosettes. And then the ones that I've cut off, I'll lift these, take them to the greenhouse, pot them up, and they'll grow into plants for next year, just in case all these die off in a cold winter. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll leave some completely as they are, just in case we do get another mild winter. So I'll have a good display throughout year. These are completely evergreen plants. These were looking pretty good all through the winter. But as you can see, I have got too many of them now. I can't possibly lift all these and put them in the greenhouse because I don't have enough space. So I'll just be taking a few. So I've thinned out many of my aeoniums now. So many pieces here for propagation to overwinter. I'm still left with absolutely loads that will stay out all winter. As you can see, when I've cut some out, it's opened up the middle of these clumps to let a bit of air in here, and hopefully these, if they get through winter, will resprout from down the bottom of the stem, or these rosettes will continue and fill this middle gap here. I've also got plenty here, so the nice big fat rosettes, and I've got 2 types. I've got this Blushing Beauty one, and we've got this Auto Purpurean one, which is a more branching, taller, shrubby one. So I've left those in big bunches with longer stems, whereas these Blushing Beauty I've left as single rosettes with smaller stems. So I'll let these dry off in the greenhouse, and I'll put them up into a gritty mixture of perlite grit and some potting compost, and they'll need to be kept above 10 degrees ideally in a bright location so the greenhouse is fine. They can't be kept really in a garage or somewhere dark because they do need light, and over winter most of the leaves will sort of come off and just left this smaller central rosettes, but they'll quickly bulk up in spring when you plant them out. So that's it for the aeoniums. As you can see, still plenty out there, and plenty of cuttings for next year's show. So my next job is to dig up these Onsettia Montbéliardii bananas. They've done a great job this year. They've been thrashed by the winds in the last few weeks. Now it's the end of October, it's time to dig them up. So I've got several to dig up. I've got the reddish purple form, Montbéliardii, and just behind it I've got the green form. Again, it's grown a good 8 foot tall. Is the Henipa type. Both were treated in the same way, dry stored over winter with pretty much no roots at all, and the leaves cut off. I've got a further one at the back of the garden to treat in the same way, so I'll get cracking, dig those up. Before I actually dig it out of the ground, I just removed all the leaves to make the job a bit easier. And you can see already how it's full of water in the leaf, in petioles where the leaves meet the pseudostem. So that'll be all drained out and dried out for a week or so before it's left upright for overwinter. It's time to dig these out. And as you can see now, I've quickly blasted these with the jet sitting on my hose pipe just to get rid of all the soil and compost from the top of these, so they'll dry out quicker without any loose material that will soak up any water. The only concern with this particular one is there's a couple of holes that look like it's starting to rot, which obviously is a big worry with these. I'll treat that a bit of sulphur powder once it's dried out and hopefully it'll be fine. So they'll stand there for a week or so, and then they'll be put the right way around and stored for winter, over 5 degrees ideally. Now the next job to do before frosts come is to take cuttings of tender plants such as this beautiful Plectranthus silver shield, and this is a Mesia. This is like a returning tender herbaceous perennial or sub-shrub. It's grown pretty tall to about 7 foot this year, flowered all year. So take cuttings of that. I'll also take cuttings of this Persicaria. It's coupled, Purple Fantasy and Red Dragon. They should return each year, but the Purple Fantasy might not if it's a very bad winter, so I'll take cuttings to be on the safe side. I'll also take cuttings of this very spiky Selenium here, which has grown pretty well, spiky every side of the leaves and the stems and stalks. I'll take some cuttings off that. Another job I'm doing today is taking the seeds from this canna, which is Alistentianii. So the seeds, the dried seed pods here, take those out, and I will store them over winter. There they are, fully ripened. Plenty, there's about 10 or 20 in each seed pod here, and plenty of those to pick. So the job for today is to take the seeds from this castor oil plant, store them over winter, and they'll quickly grow from seed next spring. Here's a nice couple of things I've spotted in the garden today. This Dickeum greenii has flowered at the end of October, which is pretty early for these really. This was all new growth this spring. Quite a few flowers to come out as well. I really like the flowers on these and the beautiful leaves. And I'll show you something else over here, which is this eucalyptus which I planted last spring. This eucalyptus here, which was only up to about here last year, in last June when I planted it, it's about 2.5 foot tall. It's doubled in size at least, and now it's about 5 foot tall. And this other eucalyptus, which again was about 1.5 to 2 foot tall when planted last year, has grown an amazing amount in a year, and it's now about 10 foot tall. It's like an incredible growth of at least 8 foot in just over a year, so let's see how that goes next year. So now my aeoniums are just on the shelf in the greenhouse, just hardening off for a few days. When I get round to it, I will put these up, keep them watered over winter, because I can't completely dry out, unlike cacti and agaves, which don't mind it too much. These do need to be watered every so often. And above that, I have dug up today a lot of my tender gingers. I've got loads of Dickeum verite, plenty of those, all over there and over there. They need to be kept above 5 degrees, 10 degrees really, in winter, to keep them into growth. They will be fine frost free, but they'll lose all the top growth. So my succulents, arid plants, they're all drying off. They're little terracotta pots mainly in the greenhouse. They'll stay there frost free over winter, along with some cacti and aloes as well. So they'll stay here in the brightest light on the brightest side all through winter, and they'll come out next spring. I've also today brought in my smaller little palms just to have some shelter over winter and they don't freeze through. They are small, most of these. Not particularly tender when the bigger specimens, the mainly Trachycarpus species, but as they're tiny, I thought I'd bring them in. Good light with this window, and they'll be fine all winter, and brought out next March, April time when the worst of the frosts are behind us, if we have any frost at all. So there are some of my corn seeds. They've already fully ripened. They'll be kept somewhere cool in a paper bag over winter. And there's hundreds more of these to be collected over the coming weeks. And these will be sown next year, so I'll have thousands of plants. It's not a bad day, really. Tune in next time when I'll carry on overwintering the plants, getting ready for winter.